Okay, good afternoon, everybody. In this conference, I would like to explain about digital Islamic economy. My name is Pratiwi. This writing is part of my writing in the Masyarakat Ekonomi Syariah book that being introduced soon this year. So I'm starting with what is the economy activities. Economy activities, it is about human and human interaction in order to exchange the product or service. And how actually these economic activities in Islam? We know that we have the interaction between human and human through muamalah. And during that interaction, one of the objectives for in muamalah is maslahah. So by having this objective in place in muamalah, basically it will also increase our capabilities on what? On how we interact to our God, to Allah. And what makes that happen? Because what we have learned, what we have to in the interaction between us and Allah is induced into the activity between the human and the other human interaction. So with this cycle, like what I picture it out in the right slide, it's actually interacted and integrated. And it is also evolve our position when we do our ibadah to Allah, our interaction to Allah, ibadah. And as well, it also will increase our level or evolve between our interaction to other human. So if you can see this kind of cycle between economic activities is in Islam, so it won't be a distinct split between ibadah and muamalah. So it should supposed to be in conjunction to make those both activities actually evolve to the new level. So how this actually relevant in the context of digital economy? So what is Islamic digital economy? I may say digital economy in general has a meaning of doing the economy with internet as a base. So just in the previous statement about economy activities is about human-to-human interaction in order to exchange the product and services to fulfill human needs. And instead of doing it face-to-face, they are doing it with internet as a base. And in the previous slide also mentioned that human-to-human interaction, which is muamalah, is actually have the orientation, the objective to the maslahah. So Islamic digital economy is how we do our economic activities based on the internet or based on the technology that have the orientation not only fulfill our own needs, but also fulfill to the maslahah. That's Islamic digital economy. And if you look at this, actually, we as an Islamic population now has to be, whether you like it or not, we have to embrace the technology. And then it will help actually on how we as Islam can adopt in the new type of world. How this actually being evolved? Let's take a look. What makes this digital economy triggered? The trigger is about the technology itself, which is the technology built by human. What is the objective? Why human make that technology? Practically, the objective is to help human in better living, faster process. So the objective is always in a good way to make our life easier. And this technology, especially in this internet, we have two types of major technology behind. One is the telecommunication. Second is about the processing capacity. We know from 1980 until now 2020, we have 5 types of telecommunication capacity. It's called 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, and 5G. And what's actually happening in 1G? Basically, it's just a call. Just make a call. We can have a call without wireless call. So then everyone can communicate each other wherever they are. After that, in 10 years later, it is also introduced 2G. 2G still focused on the capability to communicate, but the speed, the data being transferred is different. The platform that being used to communicate is based on the data now, which is at a time, some of us can build a small, simple application just transferring our data. So they can exchange data from a mobile phone to mobile phone, which is at a time, we communicate each other using wired connected cables or network. Eight years later, there's 3G. 3G gives us the more capability, which is the speed, the capacity of bandwidth is 21.6 megabytes per second. So if we took at a very high resolution image, so it is around 3 image size, yeah, 3 to 4 image size. But it's back and forward. So if we divide it into 2, let's say only 50% availability, then 2 image. And it's also there being introduced as a technology, the storage, the capacity to keep the data in the device, which is at that time, we know about 250 meg memory as well as 16 gigabyte storage in a smaller size, which is then we can use our mobile phone to keep some data. Yeah. Another 10 years later, 4G is introduced. And again, the capacity of bandwidth is higher. It is now become 1 gigabyte per second, which is it helps us to easily interchange information, easily to transfer all the dynamic video calling that's available. And that's also being supported by the capacity of the device itself, which is nowadays it became 5G. And the capacity is getting higher to 20 gigabyte per second, which is really seamless interaction and heavily used in manufacturing, because nowadays all this infrastructure can be built only for selected areas. So with this kind of speed, the data interchange now become more faster, and we can transfer video to video easily. And it's also being supported with the device that able to keep the data even bigger, 8 gigabyte. So basically it can store more than an hour video. Yeah. So along the way, of course, with the technology itself, then at the bottom of the presentation, it shows how actually the technology evolved, how we use the technology evolved. So it is starting with pager, emails, and then text, and then we have an instant messaging. We have smartphone with instant messaging, so then we can do social network, we can do video exchange over there, then we can do video conference with lack of disruption during the discussion. So that makes this digital economy getting popular and popular nowadays. How actually the technology position in these human economic activities? As an earlier described, technology is a tool and or co-worker. I may say co-worker for human, which augment what humans have to do to perform tasks being assigned better and faster. So in the case of Islamic digital economy, actually technology provides a new way to interact during the economic activities. So there's a question, if it is a tools, then who actually leading or who actually operate this technology is a human, right? So how to make it as part of Islamic digital economy is the human, us, that can put our ethics, our objective, maslahah in the muamalah activities. And actually it will also faster and better, but still aligned with Islamic values. So this is where I can picture it out, how actually we are interact with technology, adopt the technology. Actually, if we adopt the technology in the left side, if we adopt the technology within our economic activities, actually it will also expand the coverage, expand the size of business, make a better quality. Yeah. And it's also giving us an opportunity to build another technology based on the data that we have been collected. And being actively participate in the interaction, actually that's good for Islamic community like us, also evolving together with the rest of the people in the world. And again, with adoption of this, the economical getting better, the technology getting better, and then this technology enable economy to perform better. And then it's create like a very circular stairs, which evolve us into the new level. So this is where I mentioned about this economic and technology. It's supposed to be interconnected tightly, because with this interaction, actually we create a different space, a new space for us. Now, I'm also explaining about what is the current and future technology that support digital economic activities. There's a couple technology, but I just share some. Process automation, how we can ask the technology or adopt the technology to support, to automate our process. Process in terms of financing process in terms of manufacturing a product, automation in terms of processing of customer acquisition, for instance, or product selling, for instance. So there's a lot of things that we can do with the process automation. And again, it will help augmented or not, augmented our work to become more faster and bigger. Yeah. So we can only focus to the very specific tasks that required an intelligent human should think. Yeah. Internet of Things, because of the high capacity of the device, the telecommunication capacity, then it's nothing new that we can build a small device like this, the tiny device that can store all the data. We can check the soil ingredients having this Internet of Things. We put our sensors, and then those information can be sent out to the servers for future analytics. Or even now, with the process automation, actually, these sensors can also do actions based on the data. Big data. Storage is cheap. Storage is big now. Then everyone can just pull in all the data. And the data is not only the transaction data, but also non-transactional data, unstructured data. Data from Internet of Things, data from social media, data from any browsers, any web servers, anything. And we can combine it. And if we look at this, actually, that's the interaction between human to human through the data. Not directly, but through the data. Then it actually creates a new opportunity for us to think differently and to respond differently. Artificial intelligence, that's another thing that's coming up into the picture now, which is creating a human ability into the machine. So let the machine learn to help us to think. Because again, machine has a big capacity, a very fast process. But again, the machine only able to do more in the repetitive task rather than very ad hoc task. So with this artificial intelligence, the basic one is just like we have a new assistant, our new co-worker to help us. Blockchain is very Islamic the way I see it. Blockchain is about providing information transparency across the ecosystem. So having those information transparency being laid out between company to company, person to person, division to division, within the whole process, which actually disable the possibility in terms of fraud, in terms of faking the information. So this technology actually helps us to deploy. It's called Al-Amin, the person that you can trust. And this is provided by the system. The last one is quantum computing. How actually people build another processing capacity, processing power that works like an atom. Faster than electricity. They call it quantum. They call it atom movement. So there's a bunch of technology that I can share, but this is This is some that maybe as a starting point to discuss further. So to close this presentation, how to serve in the Islamic digital economy wave. We know we have three dimensions if we are talking about transformation to Islamic digital or transformation into digital world. It's about people, it's about technology and the process. These components never being independent. There's three of them is dependent. People make a technology, people use the technology. Technology create a new process, technology built based on the existing process. Process also drive what people has to do, and people also create a process to help them. Yeah, so these three components always interact with each other. So how to serve in the Islamic digital economy wave? One, ethics and Islamic soul, which is that makes us different. How to induce our ethics and Islamic soul when we use and implement the technology. Again, technology is only tools. Human who the one operate and apply it in our process. Remain focused on maslahah as an objective to any economic activities. So with this kind of perspective, then we are also able to see, okay, what the other people are need, what they want to have. How can I help you? What kind of technology can fit into that needs to help them evolve to the new level? And it creates a take and give, understanding the other person. So this is where the empathy coming up. It is not only giving a new product, a new service, that's it. No, it is really how this product, this service can be used by other people. And this kind of interaction now being adopted in our technology people to develop the system. Muamalah and ibadah has to be interconnected and integrated for us to evolve together. Inject our soul, our learning when we interact with God, with Allah, into the process when we interact with other human. And with this interaction with other human, actually it will also increase our level when we interact to the God, because at the end, the objective is for us to be the better human from yesterday. And how to do this? We have to participate actively in developing and as well implementing the technology. Otherwise, we don't know what are the soul of technology being induced into our process, if not us as in Islamic community. So we have the responsibility to use it, to adopt it, and develop a new one. Why not? And of course, be ready and think differently to transform the business process as well as the product and services as part of the adoption. If we insist just to do what we have to do now, we don't want to learn, then we will be left behind. So that's why learning is one of the key, understanding our customer, understanding the user of our product, the user of our service. It will help us, and how actually technology can fasten the process, the interaction itself, or even the production of the product or service. So I think that's the closing of this presentation. Thank you so much, and welcome to any question. Thank you.